Hi, John and team. I just wanted to make this quick video to go over Google Analytics and Google Search Console and how usually use them when looking at an SEO campaign. Now, we also set up something called Google Tag Manager, and that's really to better organize all of these tags and tracking codes that we added to the website. And there's really not much to go over there. Once you add the tracking codes, you really don't have to touch it. But if in the future you ever wanted to add any type of new marketing software, so maybe if you wanted to, do some type of tracking with IPs, that can be something that can be added to the Google Tag Manager. But really, once you set it up, there's really no need to be in there. Now, the first tool I'm going to go over here is Google Analytics. And I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm going to go over some of the key menus I look at when looking at Google Analytics. So the first thing are just looking at the channels report. So if you go to acquisition, all traffic, and then channels, you will come to something that looks like this. So since we just installed all of the tracking last week, you only have data for last week. Unfortunately, we're not able to capture any data for the website before the tracking snippets were installed. But at least moving forward, we do have some data on the website and the visitors that are visiting the website. So the data here, basically there's going to be four main traffic channels. You have direct. So those are people who are putting in the website URL directly into the address bar. So let's say if I wanted to go to YouTube, I would just put in youtube.com. And anyone that gets to the website that way, those are direct visitors. Organic search, and that's focused on SEO. These are people who go to Google or Bing or Yahoo or any other search engine and they type in something and they land on the website from typing in that search query. So that's organic search. And then referral, these are people who maybe you're on a website and then they click a link and they go to your website. And so referral and organic search, those are probably the most important for SEO, but that can have some trickle down effects on your direct traffic or your social traffic. So let's say someone types in DCLC in Google and they find a website and they click on it, but then they maybe bookmark the website URL, and then on the second visit, they actually click that bookmark link. So that second visit will be counted as a direct visitor. Whereas social is exactly as it sounds. If someone clicks through to the website from the Facebook page or LinkedIn page, for example. So from what it looks like, it's pretty much a mix between direct and organic search as far as getting the number of users. So I like to look at users and then new users because these are essentially people who are visiting your website. Now, over time, as we start getting momentum for our different marketing campaigns, these numbers should increase because that means your website is more visible online. Now, the next thing I'll look at is the bounce rate. And the bounce rate basically tells you of all the people who visit your website, what percentage of people land on one page and then they immediately exit. And what this metric tells you is that if that bounce rate is very high, that means that a lot of people, for whatever reason, when they land on your website, they're not staying on it to go to other pages or to fill out one of the forms. And so this metric, the lower it is, the better. Now, I would say for organic search, my benchmark from my experience would be no higher than 60%. So right now, your organic search bounce rate is at 61, so a little bit over that, which isn't a huge red flag. But if this was up to 70% or 80%, then that is a sign that whatever reason, whether it's the content, whether it's the look and feel, the usability of the website, for some reason it's pushing people away instead of encouraging them to stay on the website longer. Pages per session, again, that's how many pages on average someone visits when they land on the website. So as long as we're over 2 pages, I'm not really concerned with that. Average session duration, so on average, how long someone stays on a website. So organic search has the highest session duration, which is good. So it's right under 4 minutes. I would say anything over 1.5 to 2 seconds is we're in a good place. Now these aren't set up yet because I need conversion or confirmation from you all. But what we're going to do is set up goals for your website. So we're going to set up special code that anytime someone submits a form to become a member or submits a contact us form or completes the donation form, those are going to be 3 separate conversions for your website. And once those are set up and we start collecting data, you can see that data here in Google Analytics. Now, why is that important? Well, over time, as we get more data, as we get more conversions, we'll be able to say that, hey, we see that 80% of our donors, they're coming from organic search, or maybe even 80% of our donors are coming from social media. Let's double down our marketing budget for that channel so that we can get more donors. So that's really, over time, as we get more data, how you can use this data to make decisions about your marketing. Now, as I said, I don't want to make this video too long. Another menu I look at here are the all pages. So this tells me which pages are most popular on the website. So this little slash here, that denotes your home page, and typically that's going to be the page with the most views. And you can see the different data here by page. So it's homepage, then membership, then leadership, and so on. So again, if I see that, let's say the donate page, I'm sure it's a very important page, but I see that only 2 people have went and visited that page in the last week, we need to figure out ways to get more people on that page, whether it's sharing that link on social media, doing some SEO optimization, or a combination of all of the above, but we need to get more people to that page. Now, moving up here to, let me move this over, audience. So another cool thing in Google Analytics, over time, as we get more data, we can start building out profiles of the people who are visiting our website. Now, this is just enabled, and it's something else that it does take time for it to populate data, but kind of similar to what we did with the channel breakdown, if we see over time that the majority of our donations are coming from a specific age range or a specific gender, that can inform us on what we should be doing to promote donating to the DCLC on social media, or if we decide to run paid ads in the future, who is our target persona, and who are we really marketing to for donations and new donors? So that's going to take time to populate data, but just something to be aware of. Now, moving over to, and actually there was one more menu I want to go over here, the geo menu. So we see here we have the location. So, of course, the majority of folks are going to be from the U.S. Don't worry about these other countries. It's just, that's common to have traffic from other countries. It could be bots, but nothing I would worry about right now. Now, we drill down to United States. And of course, as we expect, most of it's coming from the DMV area. But let's just drill down on Maryland. We can see here that this is actually can be broken down into different cities and towns. Now, again, we're still early as far as getting data for the website, but over time, you'll notice that there are going to be certain locations that have a ton of traffic to the website. And this can inform you on a few things. If there's any type of offline marketing going on, if you're doing any events, and maybe you want to figure out where would be the best locations to host these events, this can help you. This can be a data point to help inform you where you're getting the most interest from. So that's one way I would use this. If you're planning on running any type of paid advertising, I would use this as a data point to figure out what would be the best locations to target those paid ads and so on. So just wanted to share that. Moving over to Google Search Console. So again, this is very similar. One thing I like to look at here is the Performance tab. So what we see here, I like to look at the query. So how people these are actual queries that people are using in Google to find and trigger the website. So you're going to have one column here that says clicks. So the most clicks over the last week or so have been for DC Early Learning Collaborative. And then you have impressions. So the way to think about impressions is every time someone types something into Google, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to click on your website. That's a click. An impression is every time that your website was actually listed in Google. And so what I would use this for, let's say if I'm getting impressions for a relevant query, but I'm not getting any clicks, I will look for opportunities to target that query, whether that's creating a new page that's about that query, wherever it could be, whether that's figuring out ways to improve the click-through rate, so modifying the title tag or the meta description so that we can get more clicks for that keyword. We can go a lot of different ways with that, but I do want to share that this information is available. Now, you can also enable the average position, and this tells you on average where you're ranking for a particular phrase on Google. Now, page one, that's the top goal. And page one is typically from positions 1 through 10. Page 2 is 11 through 20, and then page 3 is from 21 through 30. Now, in SEO, we have kind of a saying that the best place to hide a dead body is on the page 2 of Google, because no one ever really goes there. So if you're on page 2 for something, and it is something that's relevant to the organization, we need to make every effort we can to push it to page 1. So DC Early Learning Collaborative, you're number 3. We need to figure out why you're not number 1 for this on average, because this is the name of your organization. DCLC, the same thing. Maybe it's your Facebook page that's number 1 or some other profile, but preferably your website would be number 1. Other than that, I'm not sure the relevance or some of these other phrases. These may be team members. But I would, as we start getting more data, we start optimizing for new keywords, you're going to see more queries show up here in the report. Now, from a technical side, I also just look at, the index section here. So coverage, I just kind of go in here every once in a while to make sure there are no errors. Sitemaps, as we kind of get things ramped up, we're going to generate a sitemap for the website. And, in a nutshell, a sitemap pretty much tells Google how to review and crawl your website. So I won't go into too much detail there. It can get very technical, but that is something that we're going to do in order to help Google review the website more efficiently. Mobile usability. This is just a check to make sure that every page on your website is mobile friendly, meaning that people can access the website and easily use the website from any device, whether it's a desktop computer, laptop, tablet, or mobile phone. And then security and manual actions. If you ever heard of a Google or a website getting penalized by Google, this is where you'll get that information on how to resolve it. So we want to make sure that this remains checked with green. That's good. You don't want any manual penalties on your website. So I hope this video has been helpful, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have regarding some of the content that I went over here in the video. Thanks, and have a great rest of your day.